You bet it does. Welcome in to Friday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey and Brendan Schaefer here. And it'll be a weekend filled of sweat. Sweating out everything that will happen on the hardwood for the next 48-ish hours. And Mizzou can't do anything about it. Nothing at all. Nope.
We're helpless.
So, are they in? If they are in, tell us the seed. Tell us if they're going to Dayton. Tell us if they're not. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. I have a feeling Brendan is feeling a little apprehensive about it. So
the closer we get to the dang selection show, I keep seeing people, because it's like nothing should change at this point, but somehow I keep seeing these projections where they're sliding a lot closer and closer to that line. When they've already played, it's all done. But other teams are still playing. So that's maybe where some of the concern lies.
So where's your concern? Tell us with a call or a text. We'll also talk to Rob Veno of wagertalk.com at 4:25. We'll have our picks of the week at 5:25. You can also see us on YouTube and Facebook where we're live right now. Leave a comment there. Well, let's get to this first.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
I feel like the big deal is the idea that Missouri might not be totally safe in the field. I did pose that Twitter poll asking, hey, if you could press the button of Mizzou being matched up with Miami, Ohio, and Dayton, would you press it, Mizzou fans? Like over 70% of the voters said yes. I think that kind of expresses or reflects a little bit of the trepidation among Mizzou fans. And look, bracketmatrix.com has a ton of bracketologists making their projections, and nearly everybody says at some way or another Missouri is in the field. But I was looking at Bart Torvik. He has a really good website with metrics. He does a ranketology, maybe a little different than a bracketology, but his version of it says Missouri is the last team in with only a 53% chance of getting a bid, which is basically like a coin flip. That's a lot closer to the line than the half-court heave I described that would be needed to knock Missouri out. That's your Big Show's big deal on this 13th day of March 2026. Andy, the big deal is that I don't know for sure that Missouri is in this tournament field. And as you said off the top, there is nothing they can do to change their fate at this point. All they can do is watch and hope that what they have done is good enough. And that is uncomfortable considering, I think, how good we felt prior to the Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Kentucky losses.
It is a lot different. It's come to the point where Mizzou is now right on the brink because of the fact that when they beat Mississippi State the way that they did, you almost kind of assume that, oh, yeah, they'll get one. They'll get one. And that will wrap it up. And there will be no are they in, are they out type of trepidation. But because they lost out, Brendan, this is where they end up. I still think it is within the NCAA tournament field. There's no doubt that they dropped. But this I think, I still believe, although, again, I can be wrong on my beliefs, that the floor for them is the line of in or out of the NCAA tournament. But because they lost 3 straight, this is what was possible, right? Because at the time, what you're talking about, the sentiment that Mizzou fans had was that, oh, they're not losing out. And then they just said, oh, so we don't have to worry about that. They're an NCAA tournament team. Because they will beat Oklahoma the next game, or they will get the best of Arkansas in a home game and senior day and sold out. That'll be our game. Or, you know what? That'll be a favorable matchup in Nashville. They'll win that one.
Can I ask an uncomfortable question that we don't know the answer to?
Right.
Would it have been better to have had to play Wednesday, clean up one of those teams, and then at least you don't lose 3 in a row and people can't hold that against you? I think you're right, because you know who's even in a worse situation right now than Missouri is Texas.
Yeah.
Texas had that exact scenario happen. They ended up with the 10 seed and had to play Ole Miss, right? That was their first round game.
Yeah, the 15.
And they didn't win. They decidedly didn't win. And now people aren't even really talking about it.
And LSU was up for their game. Like, they lost to Kentucky, but they won runaway win for the Wildcats. So
those teams that were quote unquote nothing to play for ended up posing some real threats. I'm gonna make the cardinal sin again and just look at Lenardi's because that's what is easiest and most accessible. Here's why I say Texas is in a bad way. If you believe Lenardi, he's got them as the last team in. I think Oklahoma is due to take down Arkansas tonight. And if that happens, Oklahoma's in the field. Oklahoma's making the tournament if they win tonight. That's my belief. I don't know if that's fair. I don't know what I'm not calling what's right and just. But it's what I think is going to happen. I know, fool me once. Texas A&M did this a few years ago, and they didn't get in. They took a run like this. I think they won on the Friday, and then they were still ignored at the end, despite their strong finish. I think because of the nature of, and how much does the committee actually look at the public commentary? I don't know. But there is this sentiment this year that the bubble is trash. The entire bubble stinks, and they all should feel bad for being on it. And in some ways, I kind of agree. A lot of the bubble teams have faded, have had opportunities to secure their fate and have not done so. Meanwhile, Oklahoma just keeps rolling through teams, and in some cases, some pretty good teams. So I think if they beat Arkansas tonight, which I think is a very distinct possibility, I think Oklahoma's in the field, and I think Texas is probably, hopefully, the team that's in trouble.
I don't know.
What if Missouri is that last team in and they get bounced?
That's the thing. I don't think Oklahoma has a berth into this field just with tonight's win.
I think they do.
I can start to think about it if they beat Arkansas and they beat, who would they have to play? Alabama, most likely, right? So
I think that's right. They're going to roll Ole Miss.
The entire season has to matter. Oklahoma right now is a better team. You're right. They are playing better at the moment than at least the next 5 teams ahead of them on the bubble, right? They're playing better. The whole season has to matter. And that's what I come back to. That's the North Star that I continue to say, okay, look, full body of work. What'd you do? Who'd you beat? Where'd you beat them? That all has to matter.
They're better in the metrics in a lot of ways than Missouri.
I know. Yeah, they play better.
They're already much higher in the net. I mean, the net's not used in that way. Here's your favorite metric, the WAB.
The WAB.
Missouri is 41st.
Yep.
Oklahoma is 47th. I can promise you they'll bump up a couple spots if they beat Arkansas tonight.
I see them at 50, but there's different WAB metrics out there, actually.
47 through games on March 12th, unless it's been updated today. This is NCAA.com.
Okay.
So
I'm on wabwatch.com, but
I think you need to update. I'm going to trust NCAA. Either way, what's it say? Does it say
it says they're 19? It says Oklahoma is 19-14. That's their record, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say the 47 is right because it's on the NCAA website. Maybe they're wrong. Either way, I think we can agree a win over Arkansas on a neutral site would bump them up and it would close that gap. They wouldn't be above Missouri. But if you get them close to each other and you start to look at the way that Oklahoma's playing, I don't think Missouri is the team that would fall out. Like, I think Texas needs to be worried. I think there's an interesting conversation about it's probably going to come down to the stupid Mountain West. And if Missouri's in the tournament, they're probably going to be in Dayton playing somebody from the Mountain West. That's my current prediction. If they get in, it's going to be a stupid, stinking Mountain West, New Mexico, San Diego State type of team. And I'll have to put my money where my mouth is on my hatred of the Mountain West in the final year of the Mountain West as we know it, because everything's changing after.
Yeah, they're going. Pretty much everybody's going to the Pac-12, right?
A bunch of them are, and there's some that'll backfill that are staying, and it's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. But I look at that and say New Mexico and San Diego State play tonight. Many have them just right on the outside looking in or just barely in. Lenardi, for what it's worth, has them both in the first 4 out, but the winner of that's going to jump Auburn because Auburn's done, and Auburn is currently in the first 4 out. Still, we're talking about Auburn. I know, it's crazy. But Oklahoma's the first team out per Lenardi. If they beat Arkansas, Lenardi's going to have them in. I don't know that means they'll be in, but that is a change that will get made tonight if Oklahoma wins that game. I'm telling you, don't think I'm right about that? Oklahoma just trounced Texas recently, right? If Oklahoma beats Arkansas,
they try to say I
don't know what Joe. Yeah. I'm talking about like the last regular season game that was decidedly Oklahoma over Texas. I think Joey Brackets will have that change. I don't know that means the committee will, but that's we lean on the guy at ESPN that puts his
He updates
brackets out
every
times a day.
hour now.
It's content, baby, and I credit him for that. He's not very consistent. I mean, if you look at some of the changes he makes, it feels like he's just going off vibes. And he'll admit, like, there's a 50-50 chance, in his opinion, that Miami of Ohio is playing in Dayton. He has them as the last bye as of the moment. He thinks UCF is totally safe. NC State, Santa Clara, those are part of the last 4 byes. Right now, VCU, 1 spot above Missouri, but they've got a gimme, I think, tonight against Duquesne. So, they're going to get a bunch of credit probably for beating a team, because right now, you're right, the whole season should matter. What it feels like happens with at least the bracketology stuff is, hey, did that team win today? It doesn't even really matter who they beat. It's like, well, we should probably move them up a spot, because
which I don't really like that mentality.
I don't either.
It's just like a win is worth 2 or 3 spots higher every single time. Like, I don't know. Like, you should.
No, I don't know either. It should depend on who you beat for sure.
Yeah.
And Lenardi, I think, had some egg on his face the other day, because when Texas lost to Ole Miss that night, he really didn't punish them much. And then the next day he said, I crunched the numbers again. And turns out some of those metrics updated that I look at, and they punished Texas for a bad loss to Ole Miss on a neutral court. Shocker.
Hey.
What do you know?
Yeah.
So we kind of know as basketball fans what feels like a loss that'll be punishing and what feels like one that won't be. I think on Missouri's side is they didn't have any that are punishing. Honestly, the more Oklahoma does, the more you say, okay, yeah, Missouri ended with 3 straight losses. Look at the teams they lost to. Lost to Arkansas, Kentucky, and holy crap, the Oklahoma team that's now everybody's darling. So what are you going to do? I mean, that's nothing to I'm not saying it's like moral victory, but it's not.
But it was a quad one. It was a quad one victory the whole way through anyway, even without Oklahoma doing what it's done. And that also helps the metrics a little bit because of how Oklahoma is now trending upward and probably improving their net and in that way.
That's 3 quad one losses in the last 3 games. 3 quad one games for Missouri, 3 quad one losses. It's not great to lose 3 in a row, but if you're going to do it, at least you didn't lose to Northwestern again, Indiana. At least you didn't lose. Like we could go down the list of teams that have lost games and have been in the bubble position. Their fate should, the season matters. Having a game like that, I think, hurts those teams more than what Missouri has just endured. Missouri just needs to hold on to the roller coaster ride and hope that not too much chaos happens around them. And I think they'll be in. But if I asked you right now, what's your percentage that Missouri gets a bid? How confident are you at the moment?
At least 80%.
Okay. I was thinking in that 70 to maybe 80 range, but I think the closer it gets, I'll be like a 65.
Well, like the closer you don't see the name, and the more the names will flash up on the screen.
Give us that Dayton. So we have time to plan. First region, give us that Dayton date. Give us which day we're playing in Dayton. Give us our opponent. I want that in the first region, CBS. First region, I want it by 5:09 Central Time on Sunday. Just go ahead and get no suspense. That would be such a gift. If we're in, that they could just tell us we're in. Because this will be the first time, Andy, when's the last time it's been this way that Missouri legitimately doesn't know if it's in or not?
Oh, man. Well, let's see.
The names are coming out. I don't think it's happened in a while.
I don't think so either.
The Colorado State year, we felt pretty good.
Yeah, they were an 8-9. That's
stretch.
Anytime they're an 8-9 team, you don't really worry too much about it.
I think we thought 10 that year could happen. And then got a nicer, single digit seed. But we didn't think that they were going to miss the field that year, unless I'm misremembering. It's been 10 years. But
no, not at all. No, that was.
This is unique this year. Because I really don't know that they're in.
Yeah, because none of the Conzo years, it was pretty cut and dry whether or not they were in, from what I can remember from Conzo Martin's time here. And you didn't.
I don't recall a bubble like
I think really the only time was Frank Haith's last year when they were a 2 seed in the NIT that year. That's the year they missed. They went 9-9 in conference.
We hoped they would be in.
You were hoping they were in. I mean, they went 21-10, 9-9 in the league, but obviously the league was not that good that year.
We knew we had a sinking feeling going into that. We were
kind of like, that's probably not enough. But that's the closest it's been. You were maybe still holding out hope, like, hey, maybe they'll include it, because again, the NIT thought you were one of the 8 best teams not in it, so. There was maybe that lasting hope. But that's the closest it's been.
when they show the graphics after the reveal, Missouri is on the screen. That's a guarantee. You know how they put up the graphic of the last 4 in, maybe the last 4 buys, and they'll put on the first 4 out. They'll say the teams that just missed the cut. Missouri's on that. There's a Tiger logo on that screen in that moment. Oh, man. Guaranteed.
I forget. Did
Guaranteed.
They change it up a little bit to where they'll show the last 4 in before the whole field and the first 4 out to not do that suspension?
We should do this research.
I can't remember if they did that last year or not. Again, obviously you're paying attention to where Mizzou is, and Mizzou was in last year. We knew that for sure. Same thing with the other selection show
shows. Typically highlights the last 4 in early in the broadcast, often immediately after revealing the top seeds or during the initial bracket breakdown to address bubble team drama. See, AI overview is not helping us with that, because that could mean
that did not tell us the answer at all. It told us 2 possible answers.
We're gonna watch the selection show from 2025 to be like, when did they tell us?
Run it back. Yeah. Where is it on YouTube somewhere?
I'm looking. I mean, that might be legitimately. No, I don't need the baseball or the lacrosse one. Give me the basketball one. No offense, but I'm doing research here.
CBS probably has that people. More on lockdown than the NCAA
for sure
one.
They do.
Yeah.
I don't need. All due respect, I'm not looking for the 2026 NCAA Rifle Championship selection show right now. I'm looking for the basketball.
You don't remember where you were when that selection show was happening? I do.
No. I think old Jay calls in and tells us who gets picked, and I just trust him for that. I don't really.
No, that's the archery. That's archery. Archery is his thing.
Archery. Excuse me. I'm not as locked in, but yeah, you're probably right. They probably, of all the NCAA championship selection shows, there's beach volleyball on here.
Oh yeah.
There's everything. Men's tennis has a show. That'll be the one that they don't have because CBS locked it up and put it in the vault for whatever reason. Man. Like, people are eager to watch last year's show a year later. But anyway, I'm just complaining on the air now.
It's fair to wonder.
This is what this does to us. Having a bubble team turns you into just a grumpy person on the Friday before the selection show. That's just the way it is. Can't be avoided.
Call or text this Mizzou fan.
There's the bowling one. I actually am going to watch that.
Okay.
What happened on the bowling selection show last year?
When was that? I am shocked that you didn't even know what happened.
Bet you Lindenwood probably made it. No, the March 26, 2025. I mean, we were busy doing the basketball. Wichita State did get in. How do you like that?
Oh,
they're a 4 seed for those who need to know. I wonder who won.
4 seed in the bowling tournament, man.
Down on me. Jacksonville State's got a good. This might even be the women's bracket.
I assume it's coming up, Ben. If it was late March last year, then circle your calendar for.
You know, I'm locked in.
Yeah.
The championship was in Vegas last year, April 11 and 12.
Of course, why not?
Championship matches.
You think bowling, you think Vegas immediately. Come on.
Actually, you might have been sarcastic there, but you do.
No, that's what I'm saying.
The National Bowling Stadium is in Reno, I believe.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. Anyway, I've successfully taken us off track, but I'm filibustering all the way up till 5 p.m. on Sunday to keep my mind off it, because if I'm honest, I'm looking for Nebraska was a good seed. I'm looking for the ability to not be invested. I told you I wasn't going to let them do this to me. I wasn't going to let them break my heart. And here I am at the whims of the committee. My fate will be decided as a sports fan on Sunday. I wasn't going to buy back in, and I stinking did. Now I'm paying for it.
Call or text us 875-KTGR. Is Mizzou in or out of the NCAA tournaments in your estimation? You'll all be sweating it out by the time the selection show rolls around 5 p.m. Sunday. James says his prediction: Mizzou plays Miami, Ohio, and Dayton.
That'd be so cool.
I mean, that'd be
press
cool.
the button, James.
Yeah, he wants to press the button. So we'll see what that is. I mean, sad part is the Mississippi State game might have been our last win of the year, is what James says as well.
Nah, they would roundhouse kick Miami of Ohio. Like,
if that were the game,
I'm feeling so nervous about whether or not we will see Missouri get in the field that if they do, I will be riding such a high of like overconfidence for whatever day they play in Dayton, or whatever the circumstance ends up being. I will be. That's going to be my approach, I think.
Like, why not? Why not us? You know, that
Exactly.
sort of vibe.
Yeah. So we'll see what seed they get. If they are, in fact, in the NCAA tournament, I do have a very strong feeling that they're
Dayton,
11 seed.
yeah, it's whatever the Dayton seeds are, I think, which is interesting. Like we talked about this yesterday. Usually it's an 11. I would like to see somebody's full. I'll just use the Torvik one, which is not friendly to Missouri, so that could be a cause for concern. The way he's got it laid out. By the way, he does have Oklahoma in already as a 10.
Wow.
Which I'm telling you, man, if they win tonight, I think they're in there like swimwear. But the 11s, the Dayton teams, he has UCF, SMU, VCU, all the letter teams, and Missouri. So you'd be playing one of those teams. He's got South Florida as the de facto American champion. He's got them as an 11.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
I don't know who's supposed to win the American. I don't. But like he's got them as an 11. I think that would imply that if South Florida does not win the American, I don't think they're an at-large expectation.
But they're in the mix.
They're in the mix anyway. But that whatever loss they suffer would probably be a little bit damaging. 12 seeds like McNeese, Akron, Yale, High Point. I don't think that an at-large combo of like Missouri, VCU falls below any of those teams. So I don't think it would be below 11. And I don't know. I could see it being maybe a 10, but probably 11 is where those Dayton games are going to land, if I had to guess. By the way, St. Louis had a scare today. Another just first half not good is my analysis of that. They came back, beat GW. If they had lost, I was going to come on here and talk about the possibility of Mizzou and SLU playing not in the first round, but in Dayton. Because I thought, dude, if SLU loses this, we're going to see some things on these bracket updates because that would be a bad loss. So anyway, I think they're safe now. But Mizzou fans, you are rooting for SLU to take down that tournament because if VCU wins it, they're in for sure, and that's a bid that goes away. If VCU loses, hopefully before the final to St. Louis, but if they lose in the championship game, that might be enough to have their at-large fate is sealed in a positive direction. So you're rooting. You got to root for the Billikens, Tiger fans. However you may feel about that, I think it's accurate to where things are right now. I think you're rooting for Utah State in the Mountain West. The Mountain West will get multiple bids probably, but you certainly don't want a situation where it's guaranteed and like at least make the committee put them in, right, when it comes to some of those other teams. So that's who you're rooting for there. I think that's largely it of the mid-majors, Andy. I don't know if there's, like we said with the South Florida thing, like maybe that's you want to go ahead and keep that status quo. I don't think there's really anybody else that jumps out to me. You just don't want someone random like a Seton Hall or an Ole Miss to win their conference. Like just giving examples, that would be the type of thing you would be afraid of.
Well, we'll talk more about what else you need to root for during these next 48 hours here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Is Mizzou in or out? Tell us what you think with a call or a text here, 875-KTGR. Well, you might take your mind off it by placing a little wager in your jurisdiction of legality.
On anything else.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Rob Veno, wagertalk.com is going to help you out with that next.
The Big Show with Andy and Brendan continues next on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. Wintertime is when your trees are barren, obviously. No leaves yet. We'll get to that very soon, but you still need to be aware of how your trees are growing during this time, especially if they're hanging over those power lines, right? That can be dangerous. And so now that there aren't leaves on the branches yet, now's a good time to get tree pruning done so that they can be safe once we see that growth back. Eric and his team at Advanced Tree Solutions, they are excellent to work with. They've come to my yard before, taken a tree out that was dead. They're honest, upfront, and trained, and they know exactly how to take care of your trees. Because, look, the power company's not going to know how to do it. Most lawn services, they don't know how to really take care of them. Eric and his team does. Go to advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. You can contact them to book for tree pruning and also look at the other services they have so that you can get ready for springtime at advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. Give your trees the care they deserve with Advanced Tree Solutions.
Step into a real-life snow globe with Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel on this 9-day European vacation. Stroll Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest. From castles and cathedrals to twinkling market stalls. Sip warm Glühwein, shop handcrafted gifts, and even visit a family-run candy workshop. Learn more by joining us in Colette Travel Tuesday, March 17th at 5:30 at Courtyard Marriott Columbia on Lamone Industrial Boulevard. RSVP today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
The nominations are in. Now it's time to pick the winners. Now through April 12th, you'll decide the winners for Inside Columbia Magazine's Best of Columbia 2026. Vote up to once per day for the businesses and places you love, including Best Coffee, Best Auto Repair, Best Brunch Menu, or Best Dispensary. You can vote once per day, so come back and support the businesses you love most. Best of Columbia 2026 starts with you. Vote now through April 12th for your favorites at InsideColumbia.net.
Farming comes with pride and pressure. Long days, unpredictable weather, rising costs, and worries that don't quit. You don't have to carry that stress alone. Talking helps. Show Me Strong Farm Families offers free, confidential telehealth counseling with professionals who understand agriculture. Search Show Me Strong Farm Families and take the first step. Call 573-882-4677 because talking helps. Brought to you by University of Missouri Extension.
Progressive Insurance knows pets, and one of the biggest differences between people and pets is that we don't eat things off the floor. But dogs definitely will, and it makes them so happy, no matter what it looks like, smells like, or what state of decomposition it's in. We all want to go through life that carefree, and that's also why you should get Progressive Pet Insurance, because they eat things off the floor. So protect your pet from all the questionable life decisions they make. You know where they drink from when you're gone, right? Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
With no Mizzou game this weekend, they're just waiting on Selection Sunday at this point. Now you'll probably turn your attention to some other games throughout Conference Championship weekend in college hoops. 875-KTGR if you want to join us for it. Andy and Brendan here. And to get the betting angles for all those games, Rob Veno of wagertalk.com for sports from a Vegas perspective. On Twitter at Rob Veno Sports. And you can go to wagertalk.com. Their great betting info. Robbie, even though there's no Mizzou game per se, I just wonder your thoughts of how they've looked so far. Obviously, you're in a different line of work than the bracketologists are. They're trying to figure out who's in, who's out, and you're just trying to figure out who might be winning in these games and where the best bets are. But from what Mizzou has done recently, is there any difference in how you view them based on whatever their next game will be? Because they'll probably have a next game in the NCAA tournament or the NIT or whatever it is. How do you kind of view it now with Missouri leaving their fate in the hands of the committee?
Yeah, it all becomes about matchups at this point, Andy. And I think, once the NCAA tournament breaks out, or the NIT, whichever, it's so different than conference tournaments. And both are played with sense of urgency, obviously. Some more than others inside conference tournaments. Everybody plays with sense of urgency in the NCAA tournament. But the biggest factor for Mizzou is that they're going to be free of SEC opposition. When you have people seeing you, multiple times in the season, teams learn other teams' sets, et cetera. And in this case, you go play a non-conference game where they don't really know you. Until they step out on the floor, they really don't know you. So it gives Mizzou an advantage. They'll probably still make the tournament, I would imagine. The SEC carries so much weight as far as strength goes that you would think the conference strength would drag them along, irregardless of what it looked like late in the season. So yeah, I would, when the bracket comes out, you're right. I'm kind of in a profession where it's wake us up when the field is picked and let us know when the odds makers have put some numbers up, and then we'll attack it from there. But I do think they should make it, and it should be to their advantage to have somebody unfamiliar with them. And I guess you could make the counter back to me. Mizzou will be unfamiliar with their opponent as well. You hope you don't get one of those unique styles that is really difficult to play for. Just give us a regular team and let's go get it.
That sounds so right. Like last year they played Drake and that was not a regular team and it didn't go well. I'm just hoping they get in, Robbie. And maybe one of the games I'm looking at tonight, because that's still what we have to look at with point spreads and overs and unders until the next matchups are set. It's kind of a fun time of year. Every day is a new day of figuring things out on the fly. One game I'm looking at is Oklahoma. I mean, they're playing Arkansas tonight. Oklahoma has risen up the ranks for a lot of folks who do the bracketology. Oklahoma has a recent win over Missouri. What do you look at with this game with Oklahoma as an underdog to a John Calipari coached Arkansas team that knows it's in the field? Probably the better team, but Oklahoma might be the more motivated one. How do you view that matchup shaking out tonight?
It's certainly the more motivated one. The fact that Darius Acuff Jr. is even going to play in this game kind of tells us that, well, his NBA career, obviously scouts want to see the top guys play in games like this. So I think if you're a scout and you're looking at Acuff Jr. and you say, wow, he's going to play through a nagging ankle injury in this conference tournament where it's really meaningless to Arkansas because they're going to be in the big dance anyway. Whereas Oklahoma, you have to keep winning, keep stacking wins. And for Oklahoma, it's come full circle. They lost so many close games to start the year. You guys know it better than anybody. In Como, they get a dagger from Mark Mitchell at the buzzer in overtime to beat them there. They went through a series of those types of losses, and now all of a sudden they're getting close wins. So I give a lot of credit to Porter Moser and Oklahoma for not just throwing in the white flag on this season, because there was a time late January where this team could have just been fed up with all the tough losses that they took, but they turned it around. Nigel Pack has been around NCAA basketball seemingly forever. Way back to, the 3-4 years ago with Miami, and played a big, they advanced fairly deep in the tournament one year with him as their lead guard. So they've got guys. It should be pace. It was 83-79 the first time around. A lot of people that I've spoken to within the last 5-6 hours here today in my industry, kind of like the Oklahoma side plus points. Those who don't kind of point towards Acuff as being a huge difference maker, which he is. So it should be a really, really good game. Wouldn't surprise me either way, guys. Wouldn't surprise me if Oklahoma won the game straight up. Not going to surprise me if Arkansas covers the number. 166.5 your total here. You know me. I think these things should get over, but they're just played with a little bit more intensity nowadays. So we'll see.
Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. And in another quarterfinal tonight, kind of a similar situation for a team like Ole Miss. Now, they're not going to be in the NCAA tournament as an at-large. Their only way in is by winning this whole darn SEC tournament. But the same way, they've kind of pulled some upsets off to get to a spot where they're now facing an Alabama team that's got the rest and is a big-time favorite tonight. That's probably more of a higher hill to climb for Ole Miss to get, but how much steam do you think they have left to potentially be close to this Alabama team?
Well, the last thing you want to see in your third game in 3 days is Alabama on the other side, because it's, you're going to search for whatever you have left if you're Ole Miss. And believe me, teams are pulling this 3 day stuff off on a regular basis of the last 4 or 5 years. We just saw Georgia Southern in the Sun Belt win 5 days in a row. Uniquely built, a NATO's assistant, conditioned for that type of run, finally lost in the championship game. But I don't know. To me, Chris Beard's team, guys, probably does run out of gas here. I think Alabama scored. Now, that being said, Alabama's lack of resistance on the defensive end probably allows Ole Miss to score. I do like over in this game particularly. I think Alabama finds their way into the 90s, and Ole Miss could probably get 75 plus. We're only looking at a number of 163 in this game. So I think that's probably the safer thing. But again, Ole Miss probably would have liked somebody much more pedestrian style where they could D up. It's the way that Chris Beard's team has come on as of late. They've been able to kind of control pace, but as we all know here, controlling pace against Alabama is like an oxymoron. It's just not going to happen. So I think Alabama probably does win, and that one probably gets over.
Robbie, it feels like the Big 12 is the place to be tonight. Iowa State, Arizona, and we've got a rematch, Kansas, Houston. What stands out to you about these teams and these games that could potentially lead to a good betting angle for one of these?
Well, one more time, guys, as far as players looking to just make sure that their NBA draft stock is settled, AJ DeBansta kind of did his part for BYU. I don't think there's a scout in the NBA that would want him. And Darren Peterson's obviously been questioned all the way through. Now, he's given KU 30-plus minutes, I think, in 3 or 4 straight here. 37 last night. 37 pretty good minutes, too. Not necessarily great from the field, but lived at the free throw line. And when Kansas needed him the most early in the game, I think they were down something like 23-16, and Peterson was in the middle of a 12-0 run that put Kansas on top and sort of got them settled in. They beat Houston the first time around, guys, but it was the third game for Houston in that like trio of grinders. They played the top 3 teams right in a row. I think it was Iowa State, Arizona, and then Kansas on a Monday night. And Kelvin Sampson's team just didn't have it. Not enough, at least, in Allen Fieldhouse. And in fact, they were minus Peterson in that game. And Houston still couldn't pull it off. I think a couple of ways here. It's interesting when you look at metrics, and we all do, right? We're all looking at the Ken Palms of the world every single day, trying to figure out who's good, who's bad, where you're strong, where you're weak. Houston's metrics look really good, like they always do on the defensive side. But to me, their metrics this year just aren't consistent enough. To me, those metrics are built on kind of bullying softer opponents, because every time we see them play an elite, it looks like, Houston's not the same defensive team as they were. All that said, they could go out and win this thing 69-59 tonight. No surprise there. But I think KU is going to be in it. I really do. Houston, from a betting perspective only, guys, has been overvalued all season long. If they should be -4, they're -7. If they should be -8, they're -11. Just the way the odds makers send it out there. And I think in that instance, you probably would want Kansas plus points here. It's so similar to the matchup they had last night with BYU in regards to Rob Wright and DeBansta as your point guard and player, and here Melvin Council Jr. and Peterson as your kind of guard wing tandem. But I think KU's got a little more size and a little more punch to them.
Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. I'm sorry to make you maybe project out, Robbie, something that we just don't know at the moment. But now that Miami, Ohio has lost a game and everyone is questioning whether they're in or out, they're probably still in. Most bracketologists still have them in, but we'll see for sure. It most likely is going to be a team that they are underdogs to, and a team that's higher, at least 100 spots higher in the net than anybody else they've faced this year. When you look at a potential opening number for Miami, because of that fact, do you automatically think it should be less juice on the Miami side, or do you think they're maybe legit to take on a challenge like that? Again, not knowing the opponent, it's hard to do, but like, how do you kind of value them going into this time?
It's funny. We usually react in the NCAA tournament to these teams that get seeded 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever, the lower seeds in the tournament, let's say 12 through 16. And if you take a team that won their conference in resounding fashion, as far as wins, losses are concerned, generally we all get behind the dog, think, man, this dog's got a chance. They've got a chance. And here you've got a 31-0 team or 31-1 team now that everybody thinks, kick them to the curb. They're done. They're finished. And they're probably one of the best mid-majors we've had in quite a while. I think this way, guys, just the way my brain works, I'm really hoping Miami gets in. I think they should. And I hope that they face a team that has a lot of offensive firepower. Because if there's one thing Miami of Ohio hasn't done all season long, it's play any defense. You saw that again third time around against Frank Martin in Massachusetts. UMass for what it's worth, a 500 type team that got 77 or more every single time they played. Miami could never make defensive adjustments against anybody that they played this year. So I'll be looking to play the opposite side, maybe team total over when they do play. Regardless, I don't know how your audience is, but whether they're in or out, you guys probably have a lot to talk about on Monday afternoon when you hit the airwaves.
We were kind of wondering if they played Mizzou, how would you feel? Like, just like, don't know. In a first four situation, right?
And
like,
I asked Mizzou fans if they could press the button now and say, hey, you have to go to Dayton, but you're in, and your opponent is Miami. How would you feel about that? And most people are kind of like, yeah, I would take it, because I think there's just that uncertainty. But would that be a matchup that what would you think about that? I mean, that's an interesting one. Everybody would be so eager to see Miami play like a quad one or a high major type of team for the first time.
And we just discussed what you would want if you're Missouri, right? You just don't want a unique team. Yeah. Miami of Ohio is not necessarily unique. They're quick pace. And guys, they stretch the floor, so their spacing is so good. So they usually get good shots. But to me, Missouri's quick to recover on the defensive end. And when you've played SEC type speed all season long, I think the matchup would be great. I'd be with your audience. If you could sign up for that as a, unbiased Mizzou guy, I would sign up for that. I think that's a favorable matchup for the Tigers.
Robbie, what's your free pick for this weekend?
Well, you know what? Let's go to tonight, guys. Seems to be a lot of sentiment for this one, and I can't say that I disagree, although I do get a little leery, but I think Clemson plus 11 points against Duke tonight.
Yeah.
It seems to be a game where Duke, as injured as they are, we saw last night, you could view their game last night against Florida State one of two ways. A, it's a wake-up call. They'll be ready tonight. Or B, Duke is just going through the motions to get to next week healthy, because you can't lose another guy inside this tournament. And Brad Brownell has a way of, mucking up games. I don't know that they're going to win, but you're going to give me 11 points in that matchup. I'd sign up for that.
What? Now, I know you're an over guy, but I researched this game today. I kind of like under. Two teams that play pretty slow paced, and they both played 80-79 last night. Feels like they could have a lower scoring one. I wonder if Clemson can score enough to cover, but it could be one of those kind of low scoring games. I'm curious what you think about that.
Yeah, that stuff all correlates, right? When you have a dog of this size, double digits, you want an under, or you want to at least have this game lined in an appropriate area where it's not going to get out of hand. And I don't know that Duke is going to, you're always subject to a Duke spurt, right, guys? You're always subject to that 10-0, and Clemson can go through shooting problems, and their best big is out for the season at a very inopportune time. Didn't play last night, won't play tonight or for the rest of the season. They do have a few big guys. Vassar for North Carolina went absolutely crazy last night against this Clemson defense, 27-12 or 28-12, I think, which, if you're a prop bettor, maybe you want to bet Cam Boozer to do the same. But I still think that 11 points just seems awfully high to me in a game like this.
All right. Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com here on the Big Show to talk all things college hoops betting. You can find him on Twitter at Rob Veno Sports and at WagerTalk.com as well for all of their great betting info. Thanks for coming on, Robbie. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk again soon.
Take care, guys. Have a good weekend.
You bet. It is 4:45 here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. That is one that's on Picks of the Week sheet. We'll see if it gets
Duke's
taken.
the better team. And for a while there, I thought Mizzou was destined to be like in the 6-11 against Clemson. Now I just think Missouri's lucky to get in. That Clemson kind of vibe, that feels like a team Missouri could pop up against in the first round. Like, I think Duke beats them tonight, but they both teams won 80-79 last night, which is kind of a weird, bizarre thing. But those are not teams that play fast, but they played against teams that play faster, and they both were able to get to 80 on them. I think it's a rock fight in that one between those two tonight.
Well, we'll have Picks of the Week coming up at 5:25, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, up next, under the bus. Oh, good. The Big 12 finally decided that playing on top of a scoreboard wasn't a good idea. That's next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. All Mizzou men's basketball can do now is wait for Selection Sundays. The Tigers bowed out yesterday in the SEC tournament to Kentucky to fall to 20-12. So now they will wait to see if they are in the NCAA tournament field. Most bracketologists still project the Tigers to be in, but a lot of them include Mizzou in their last 4 teams in, which would potentially slot them into the first 4 games in Dayton, Ohio on either Tuesday or Wednesday. Selection show begins Sunday at 5 p.m. Mizzou baseball opens up SEC play tonight. Tigers hosting number 6 Auburn. Mizzou is on a 13-game winning streak, 15-2 start in non-conference play. That's their best start since 2017. First pitch tonight at 6 o'clock. You'll hear coverage starting at 5:45 here on KTGR. Tomorrow's game scheduled for 4 o'clock. Sunday's game still scheduled for 11 a.m. Mizzou softball also playing at home this weekend. Tigers in about 15 minutes will take on Minnesota and then play South Dakota. Tomorrow they'll play South Dakota again, as well as Iowa State. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
I'm tracking mild weather continuing through tomorrow with high temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s on Saturday. We have issued a weather alert day on Sunday through Sunday evening and Monday morning for rain transitioning to blowing snow in the evening with high winds and possibly 1 to 2 inches of snow accumulating, below 0 wind chills into Monday morning, but another warm-up is expected by the middle of next week. I'm meteorologist Nate Splater, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
On Simmons Field.
Swinging a ground ball, hit past third and the left. That's a base hit.
And across the SEC.
Fastball, swing and a miss. He struck him out.
The Tigers are ready to roar.
There it goes. Long drive, deep right field. That is gone.
This is your radio home for Mizzou baseball.
The Tigers win this one in a walk-off here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
In sports, there are bad calls, like wolfing down walking tacos before 9 a.m. warm-ups, discussing NIL deals with your 8U travel team, or trusting the mom who spells lose with 2 O's to order team jerseys. Yay, go Tigres. Here's a good call. Shopping at Play It Again Sports for baseball and softball season. Play It Again Sports. Think of them first, so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com. Extra savings, not extra letters.
Whoops. Hi, we're Midway Electric. And since you've got a nice large tax return this year, you've got the ability to put it towards something that lasts, like updating your bathroom with modern light fixtures or new kitchen lighting that pops. And Midway Electric is the team of pros you can trust to bring those dreams to life. From custom lighting to complete electrical upgrades, Midway Electric helps transform the spaces you use every day. Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
From the trainers to the coaches, the equipment managers to the players and fans, it takes a whole team to be truly successful. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you're looking for the best team of jewelers in Columbia, it's Betts. Their staff has years of experience handcrafting jewelry, and when you combine that with the newest technology, it gives Betts Jewelers the ability to truly wow their customers. So talk to the team at your hometown jeweler today. Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
What happens when a chef, 2 pharmacists, and a financial analyst walk into a bar? They buy it. And then they tell people from all walks of life to come enjoy it with them. Big flavors, bigger burgers, local brews, handcrafted drinks, and a game of pool or 2. See, billiards was built by people like you. A teacher, a receptionist, and a cashier walk into billiards. What happens next is up to you.
Looking on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
Call your shot at billiardsonbroadway.com.
Before the sun comes up and long after it sets, ABC 17 News and Storm Track Weather keep working for you, gathering the information your family needs to take on the day, alerting you to breaking news and health and safety concerns in our area, plus tracking the latest weather conditions to help you plan ahead. It's everything you need to know from the team you trust most. ABC 17 News and Storm Track Weather, where the news comes first.
To you, they're basically invisible. Tiny, weird, winged insects. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Not exactly. You see, while you're living your best human life above ground, there could be up to 1 million termites foraging for wood underneath your home. Steve's Pest Control needs you to know that termites are a serious problem. Like up to $5 billion a year serious. Oh, and that homeowner's insurance you've got? Yeah, termite damage isn't covered. In Missouri, it's not a matter of if you're going to get termites, it's when. A termite queen can lay over 20,000 eggs a day, and their colonies could house up to 1 million termites each. Upgrade your 5-star service with Steve's to the 5-star Advantage plan. In most cases, for less than $1.50 per day, you can show those termites that the Centricon system and Steve's Pest Control are a serious threat too.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
What do you know? Turns out you probably shouldn't play basketball on top of a video board. Big 12 realized that a little too late, though, a few rounds into their tournament, but now it looks like they have changed it back to an actual hardwood for tonight's semifinals and tomorrow's championship.
Yeah, this was like a $10 million LED floor that you could change the logos and the boards and make it look different with various designs. It didn't look great, in my opinion, like the kind of gray boards that they use. I didn't even think it looked awesome. And
it looked awful.
The players hated playing on it because everybody was slipping and sliding around, and you could even see like the little cushion that's like an inch thick between where the quote unquote boards are of these screens. I saw a funny tweet that said they should put 4 other basketball games on the TV screen so we could watch 5 games at once. The players could be playing on top of 4 additional broadcasts so we could just see everything we want. Like, people were clowning on this screen. It was expensive. Players hated it. I don't think fans got anything out of it. I understand wanting to try to innovate, but it was panned universally, and it was smart that they bailed before the end of their tournament.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a safety issue, and you've got to make sure you button all of those up by the time you're getting to these big-time games, which there are huge games tonight in the Big 12.
I love these. Big 12 teams are going to be written in my bracket all the way through. I'm serious. Man. There are some really good teams in this league this year.
Also, under the bus to Travis Aitchan. Is that how we're saying it? No, not Devon Aitchan.
Well, who's Travis Aitchan? Because I don't even know who that is.
We're familiar with Travis Etienne, NFL running back. Signed a free agent deal with the Saints this offseason. He was.
So did they combine the 2 running backs? Is
no.
That what you're saying they went into like a.
No, Travis said today that this is actually how you pronounce my name. It's really Aitchan. And I guess when he went through high school and college and he tried to tell people how it was pronounced, they just ignored him. And he just kind of went with it. And now he's trying to set the record straight.
Yeah, because he's with a new team, so he figures maybe now's the time.
Fresh start.
Tyler Beatty Bidet did this.
That also
didn't tell anybody at Mizzou about Bidet.
No.
I still think I'm being punked on that one. But the Aitchan thing is weird because if you look at his name, I could kind of see how it's like Aitchan.
I mean, probably a Cajun way to say it, because he's from that area.
Cajun, but you kind of combine it, and Aitchan is kind of – but I just think it's crazy that I for sure thought the Texas A&M running back was Devon Aitchan. And then everybody said it's Aitchan.
It's Aitchan.
And now you're telling me there's another running back who's got a completely different name, and it's also Aitchan? I don't know what to do with this information. But what I want to happen now is his younger brother with the Panthers, Trevor Etienne.
Yeah.
I want Trevor to say, I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm still Etienne.
Etienne always has been. I'm waiting for it. That would be so good.
He's going to get asked, right? He's now asked the next time he's in front of a microphone.
Yes. Trevor will be asked.
Confirm the story or not. That is very odd. 2 different NFL running backs as they're with their new teams saying that that's how they pronounce their name. I mean, get the names right. Like, that's what I say, but man, that is so
no, for sure.
odd.
Yeah.
Two mid-Missouri girls basketball teams claimed state championships last night. Congrats to St. Elizabeth and Tipton, the Class 1 and 2 girls basketball champions in the state of Missouri, respectively. Well done, ladies, on that. And then the Class 3 was also last night. Principia won that one. That was one of the teams that was involved in that redo a couple weeks ago. I mean, they were top
it then.
Yeah, top team in the state in Class 3. And once they got past the number 3 team in sectionals and the number 2 team, Centralia, in the quarters, then the Final Four is here. And okay, yeah, we know who's going to win this thing. And their semifinal and championship, they won by 20 plus, I believe. So
that's pretty impressive, though, to have, I don't know if anybody had a tougher path to have to play the same game twice.
Early on, yeah.
And come from behind twice. I mean, they probably were the deserving champ. That's cool to see.
So congrats to St. Elizabeth and Tipton for those big wins yesterday. And there will be some more. The boys' small schools will play today and tomorrow. And then next week, the large schools will play. In the meantime, we'll keep discussing Mizzou and what they need to root for tonight in our rooting guide next.
Brian Ware Plumbing and Restoration has answered a lot of your calls over the years, and you've helped him grow his business immensely. So he wanted to take a second to say thank you. Oof, that was pretty emotional. We couldn't have said it better ourselves. So keep calling Brian to unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
Life has many sweet sounds, whether it's being enchanted by the coo of a baby, enthralled by the refrain of a favorite song, or even enlightened by a celebration. Hearing connects, informs, and engages us with the world. At Hearing Aid Consultants, helping people hear better is our passion. Set your hearing baseline now so you don't miss the sweet sounds of life.
Hearing Aid Consultants in Almake Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
Paradise doesn't have to be far away. Sometimes it's a quiet walk through a state park. Sometimes it's your favorite takeout and a night in. At Shangri-La, we believe that cannabis belongs in those everyday moments, not as an escape, but as part of living well. That's why we offer 20% off select category every day, plus 20% off store-wide every Sunday. Thoughtful products, honest guidance, real value. Shangri-La, discover paradise. Learn more at ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
The Como Man Show is almost here. Tomorrow, March 14th at the Northeast Events Center where the Boone County Fair is held. You can win prizes in the hot wing eating contest or enter to win prizes like sweet tickets to a Mizzou game, iron rocking chairs with a fire pit, Royals pub table, concert tickets, and more. With food trucks and tasty beverages available. Plus, a portion of the proceeds will be given to the VIP Veteran Pack program. General admission and VIP tickets on sale now at ComoManShow.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, Mid-Missouri's total sports station. KTGR.
I'm John Ryder. The Carolina Panthers have agreed to a deal with free agent left tackle Rasheed Walker, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. Terms haven't been announced. Walker's been a starter for Green Bay for the last 3 seasons. Seahawks GM John Schneider believes Washington State's new income tax on high earners will eventually have a negative impact on the team's ability to sign free agents. 2 rounds of the Players' Championship are finished. Xander Schauffele and Ludwig Aberg tied for the lead at 10 under, 1 ahead of Cameron Young. College basketball, Big Ten tournament quarterfinals, and a big game for a Badgers senior guard.
Boyd at the top of the circle. Rolls around the screen. The floater in the lane. It will crawl in for Boyd. 35 for Boyd.
I just don't know how he's doing that against the zone. That's what you're supposed to take away.
The magical dude. Magical dude.
Call on Learfield Sports. Nick Boyd would finish with a game-high 38, and Wisconsin takes down Illinois 91-88 in overtime. Michigan gets past Ohio State 71-67. SEC quarters on ESPN. 6 minutes to go, second half. Vanderbilt leads Tennessee 63-58.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
From Faro,
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush,
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
and Arrowhead.
Touchdown, Kansas City.
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
And 48 hours away from the selection show beginning and us finding out if Mizzou is in or out. It's just a waiting game. You can also play the rooting guide game and discuss the teams that Mizzou would need to win to help out their case as much as possible, or to lose. So we'll put that together coming up here in just a little bit before we give you our picks of the week for tonight's conference tournament action, as well as maybe a little NBA for tonight. 5:25, we'll have our picks of the week. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Look, the deeper we get into this, the more I begin to become convinced that Missouri is still squarely on the bubble and that things can certainly go against the Tigers because Missouri's done. They don't get to influence their standing anymore after the loss yesterday to Kentucky in the SEC tournament. Kentucky got popped by Florida. We knew that result was coming, but the Tigers really could have used that win to solidify their standing, and now it really depends on which bracketologist you ask, which is not a real doctor of any kind, but I don't know, those people do genuinely know what they're doing more times than not. On bracketmatrix.com, I just checked, Mizzou is in on 105 out of 106 brackets. Why does that not make me feel any better? What if Mizzou is the team we're talking about that was snubbed that everybody expected to get in? Please, anything but that.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
St. Louis Billikens had the largest comeback win maybe in program history today against GW in the A-10 tourney in Pittsburgh. And I know what you're thinking. Brendan, stop talking about SLU. We don't care. But I actually have a point this time. The result is great for Mizzou, and even better for the Tigers would be the Billikens figuring out their recent first-half woes to win the A-10 tournament, because VCU, Dayton, or anyone else who would win it looms as another big-time bid stealer, and I really do think for Missouri that matters.
Number 3.
There's Jordan for 3. Yes!
A team to root against is simple tonight. It's Oklahoma. The Sooners are dangerous. Mizzou saw this firsthand last week, and Porter Moser's team has been rolling lately. So much so that, yes, many do believe the Sooners are back squarely on the bubble, and I fear that a win for OU tonight over Arkansas would possibly swipe another at-large bid that could otherwise go to a team like Missouri. It sounds crazy, but I think Oklahoma would be in tonight if they beat Arkansas.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
I know this happens in sports. Players get fed up with trying to convince people to pronounce their names properly, and eventually they just give up and tell folks, yeah, it's this way, even though that's wrong. And I'm against that happening, for the record. But the crazy part of the Travis Etienne situation, and he now tells reporters in New Orleans to call him Achan, the pronunciation is identical to another running back whose name I used to get wrong, but it's a different name entirely, Devon Achan. All that's left now is for Trevor Etienne, the Georgia Bulldog brother of Travis, to confirm the story. And if he does, yeah, I guess it's Achan now, guys.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
World Baseball Classic tonight. USA, Canada. It's not really a rematch, but we did just have the hockey game. Does Canada get payback for that one over Team USA?
That's The Big Show's top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
We'll see. 875 KTGR here on The Big Show. I did see you retweet something from Bob Nightingale that made me chuckle.
I was afraid to share it because it's Bob Nightingale, and so sometimes you're like,
yeah,
is it real,
maybe,
Bob? What are you
yeah,
on today
doing,
with
Bob?
the tweets, buddy? But he did say that Hockey Canada, I don't know, had a message for Team Canada that was basically like, hey, can you guys win? Because we couldn't. Like, I'm not really sure what the motivational tactic would be for Hockey Canada to reach out other than to do what we're all doing, which is to go, oh, you know, they did just play in the Olympics in hockey. That's kind of cool. But Hockey Canada didn't win that game against Team USA. So they're like, hey, can you win so we feel better about losing? which is one way to approach.
I don't know. Yeah, no pressure, guys. There's only
they have nothing to do with this, but please, can you win so we feel better about our failures? Okay.
Yeah. The entire happiness of an entire country as far as their sports fandom rests on your shoulders, but no pressure, guys.
Yeah.
No, nothing at all. Just go out there and play free.
On other World Baseball Classic topics, I saw this afternoon from Francis Romero. I don't know to this point if it's been corrected, but at 1:51 p.m. Central, Francis Romero reported Albert Pujols mentioned that he has not announced the lineup tonight for the Dominican Republic because the Korean national baseball team has also not done so yet. So a little bit of a standoff there where they're they're playing the lineup game of the way that's
Let's not go back
down.
to indie ball. Come on, man.
I think that's actually a little bit of an under the bus for Albert for the reason being.
Yeah, it's a little.
Somebody's got to release it first.
Exactly.
Unless there's a rule that the official away team or home team has to do it first, then why should you be the team that gets to wait? I don't know, but I mean, Albert already is big league in the South Korean team, so
it
maybe
takes me
ready
back
for
to
a
when
game.
I was interning for an independent baseball team.
Don't
and
tell me that they did this there.
Up 45 minutes before first pitch, Brendan.
Was
The
that
managers
for
were
strategic reasons?
No, it was, first of all, there was a visiting manager that would always do this. They would they would never.
We're being petty then.
They would never post their own lineup in the clubhouse for an intern to come in and see. You would have to go and see them.
You're just trying to do
give
your job.
them the home team's lineup.
Yeah.
And so I'm just sitting here for 5 minutes. I'm reading off the names. Okay, number 5, Blaylock.
Okay, no.
He's playing second. All right. And it's and then I can take a picture of his lineup, which he's already got filled out, but he's not posting it anywhere. And so that's, But anyway.
I think that guy was just petty stuck in indie ball versus a strategic reason, or maybe he thought it was strategic. Albert clearly is taking this World Baseball Classic thing seriously, which, by the way, you should do, Mark DeRosa. Just make sure that we're putting our best out there.
Yeah.
Logan Webb tonight taking on Mike Soroka. So that's the pitching match.
There you go. So we'll be looking towards that baseball game this evening. USA and Canada.
What's the rooting guide on that one?
I mean,
America, right?
I guess so.
Be.
Might as
Stubby
well.
Clapp won't be rooting for America. I can tell you that.
No, that's
Stubby Clapp
definitely
will be
not
Team
the case.
Canada.
I mean,
He
maybe
gets
if you
into
want to
that
root
when
for Mark DeRosa's downfall or whatever, because you're still mad
No,
about
that's
that.
too much.
Yeah,
That's too much. I don't see lineups on MLB.com either for this matchup. I was looking because I wanted to see if Tyler O'Neill would be in the lineup for Canada.
Interesting. Well,
because
that one's coming up too.
Yep.
Also coming up, Mizzou baseball.
Yep.
Taking on Auburn tonight.
Yep.
You'll hear it with first pitch under an hour here on KTGR.
I'm rooting for the Tigers.
Please.
The home team Tigers. Excuse me. Sorry.
Did you do that on purpose?
I did.
No?
I did. That was
Okay,
that was just a little fun for you.
That was
and
well
anybody
done.
that cared.
But Mizzou's first real test, right? 15-2, 13 game winning streak. That's great. And look, that's better than they have done in several years now against similar competition. But we can recognize that the competition is not what they will be facing for the next 10 weekends.
It's about to ramp up.
So it's the first real ramp up for what Mizzou is going to be having to get used to the rest of the way for these next 2.5 months. And we'll see if they can get it done. Auburn's good. Auburn's ranked number 6. So tough way to start it. But we'll see
and
how
I could
Mizzou
ask,
does.
number 6 in the SEC or in the country? And the answer is pretty much just both.
Nation. Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
Generally, I don't know if
they'll
that's
finish
exactly
ninth
right.
in the standings because of tiebreakers or something like that. Yeah,
right.
That's what'll happen. Something like that. But
so that'll be a challenge,
Yeah.
for sure. But this is the first kind of, we talk about data points all the time early in seasons. This will be the first opportunity to really go, you win this game or you win this series or you win 1 out of 3 or you hang, then you go, okay. Maybe this is a snowball rolling down the hill for Carrick Jackson's squad. And that's obviously what we're all hoping for. And by the way, Auburn is the 4th ranked team in the SEC. Arkansas, Mississippi State, Texas, all in the top 5 in the country. So that's what you're dealing with. But we could keep going. Georgia is 8th. Oklahoma is 9th. LSU is 13th. Tennessee is in there. Kentucky, A&M, Florida, all within the top 25. So that's the way. That's
loaded.
life in the SEC
That is
for baseball.
Loaded conference. And Mizzou just trying to make their way. But look, hey, winning 1 out of every 3 in a series would be quite the improvement from last year,
And
so,
like, call me crazy, but I think that puts you in.
It could
on the bubble.
It could, yeah.
I'm not even being facetious.
Yeah, Mizzou has built up the wins to maybe be in that conversation at the moment. So
talking about 20 wins. I mean, just saying, we'll see what ends up happening there. But it's crazy that 11 of the 16 SEC teams are currently ranked in the top 23 or so teams in the country. So,
all right, well, we'll see what happens this weekend. Again, Mizzou taking on Auburn tonight in baseball, 6:00 first pitch. You'll hear it on KTGR. 4:00 Saturday, still scheduled for 11 a.m. Sunday. We'll see if that changes or not.
Maybe you split with Auburn this week. 1 out of 2.
They'll try to get all 3 in.
They
will
will
see how it goes. But you can hear it all, no matter what, here on KTGR this weekend. All right.
By the way, go out there tonight because this might be the best kind of weather chance you get, this weekend.
Yeah, tomorrow will be pretty good too. But yeah, this is your opportunity to snap into it.
See that Friday night starter? I mean,
exactly.
Let's roll.
Jaden Pimentel tonight for the home Tigers. So be staying tuned for that. Again, first pitch, a little less than an hour here on KTGR. All right, the college hoops rooting guide. Well, hey, you root for SLU, right? And SLU got it done tonight. So that's the case. In the SEC, look, you just need to nip it in the bud. Arkansas, Alabama, take care of business. Because those, Oklahoma wins again, then there's belief. There's all kinds of belief. Like, there's no one that can beat us left in this field. And, I mean, if they go on and make the championship, maybe they do have a case to be an at-large, but they could potentially be a bid stealer themselves. And so, that is what you want to just squash right away.
I'm now seeing posts about prediction markets with their opinions on this, and Missouri is at 50% on one of the prediction markets. I'm just saying that's where people are actually putting their money. Oklahoma's at 13%. That is too low, gang. That is where I would be putting my money.
Man.
I don't have a take on the Mizzou thing. I think 50 is maybe a little bit low, but I'm not comfortable betting on it right now. I think it's now it's up to 58%. Still, that's
is that how quickly it changes? Just like that?
Well, it was a screenshot of the market from earlier today, and then I think I don't know if that's like a St. Louis team winning, if that helps or what have you, but yeah, that's where it is. I'm hoping that it's not an issue, but you never know, and maybe that's where the rooting guide certainly does come into play.
Well, other pieces of the rooting guide. As long as Oklahoma and Ole Miss lose tonight, then you're good there as far as the SEC and
that would
how it affects Mizzou and
Oklahoma especially.
Yeah,
Ole Miss, they have to win it all. They're not going to beat Florida. So I would say of the two, really need Oklahoma to lose.
All right. Elsewhere in the Mountain West. So San Diego State plays New Mexico.
I know it's kind of a bum deal because someone's getting a good result,
Yeah. So which team would you rather have get that result in the semifinal and then potentially have a chance at winning the championship tomorrow?
I assume this is updated. 14 of 106 on Bracket Matrix already have New Mexico in as an at-large, and only 6 of them have San Diego State in. So, is there a way in which San Diego State wins this, but then loses to Utah State and doesn't get in, and then maybe you take New Mexico down a peg because I think they are slightly higher on most people's lists, and New Mexico go ahead and lose today? Or do you pick the team that you think matches up worse against Utah State, which you're still needing them to win? That to me, that's an obvious rooting interest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what time their game is, or frankly who they play. I don't make
think
a habit
they're the
of paying
last
attention.
game. Are they way at the end of the
8:30 p.m.
Oh boy,
so not quite that late.
So, but then New Mexico, San Diego State is afterwards, and they're tipping at 11 p.m. Central Time.
Oh crud!
So That's what if you are really wanting to watch all of the bubble teams.
Probably lock in, but like you don't get a good result there regardless.
No.
Either way, it's not great. San Diego State favored, I believe, in that matchup.
Yep.
I mean, they've both lost 6+ games in the Mountain West, and to me, I just don't think very highly of that league. So I don't understand. I mean, Grand Canyon's 13-7 too. Are we going to put them in the field? Like, give me a break with the Mountain West stuff. One big league, you get one. That's the way I'm hoping it plays out. So yeah, Utah State needs to win that tournament. Ideally, I guess maybe do you root in a way that you try to prevent a 3-bid league? Is one of the two teams today, New Mexico, San Diego State, sitting so favorably that they're in even with a loss
well,
today?
What's Bracket Matrix say? Did they look more favorably upon New Mexico?
And this is 106 different people weighing in, right?
Yeah.
And so it's in either case, they're kind of on the outside looking in. 14 of 106 have New Mexico. Only 6 have San Diego State. So I would say,
I guess you root for San Diego State tonight then?
Yeah, but does that then get them the credit they need, even if they lose tomorrow? Worst case scenario is somehow 3 of them getting in. If that's the case, I think Mizzou
I just don't think that's going to happen. I
don't think so either.
Like, there's a possibility that it's 2 of them, whoever wins New Mexico and San Diego State. And then if it's Utah State, in fact, winning the championship. It's a real
problem if Utah State loses to Nevada today. That could be a real problem.
No doubt.
Because then Nevada's just as liable to win that whole thing, and they're not in the field without doing so.
Yeah.
That's where you maybe get 3. Because Utah State's in, even with a loss today.
I'd say tentatively root for San Diego State, and then Utah State obviously has to win that thing. And if San Diego State takes that loss to Utah State, I don't know if the win would not be enough to propel them, I think, into the field. But the law, and then coupled with the loss that they would take, it almost stifles the rise a little bit. So we're
gonna twist ourselves into knots over this thing for sure.
Yeah,
I think that's lower priority though. The Mountain West stuff is like Utah State, as long as they win today, it'll probably be the 2 teams playing tomorrow that both get a bid. I think that's probably the way that it'll go. And that's 2 at the most. You'd love it to be 1. But as long as Utah State wins tonight, I think that's the biggest priority. Just make sure that you don't get a weird Nevada inclusion in that. And I think you're pretty much okay on that front. You for sure want St. Louis to win the A-10 because VCU is right there as an at-large bubbly type of team. They're beating Duquesne right now. They started slow. I was hoping they might lose, but they're up 10.5. So VCU is gonna be in position maybe to make it anyway. Like if they make the title game, I think VCU is probably in. But you certainly want one of those 2 teams to win and not some random third team that beats SLU and then marches on their merry way to then knock off VCU in the title game or something like that. Dayton could be a little bit scary for that. I think SLU would match up with Dayton next. I think SLU was the 1 seed, Dayton the 4. So maybe that's the way that goes. Dayton always gets a little bit more credit than I think they deserve. So,
I don't know if Dayton, you fear Dayton beating SLU, obviously.
Right.
That.
I don't think Dayton would be an at-large even if they get to the title game and lose to VCU. To your point, but I any way that VCU could get knocked down a peg would be great. I just fear if they get too deep, that at-large consideration is going to be there even if they do lose to St. Louis. But I don't know. It's a hard thing to root for because you don't necessarily want to see VCU make it at all. I think they'd have one more game before the finals, but you certainly don't want another team to win it. You know what I mean? Because then you could be talking about, SLU's in, VCU's in, and now,
Dayton.
Crap, Dayton just won the tournament.
Right.
Like, then we're going, whoa, where do we go wrong?
So
here?
SLU tomorrow against Dayton, huge. Like that one,
right.
And then you might be a little more in the clear because it's probably VCU on the other side.
Because if VCU's in as an at-large anyway, maybe that's who we play in Dayton, like whatever. But it could be interesting. What if it's VCU SLU, and at that point you're like, okay, they're both probably getting a bid. Would you rather see like with the thought being that the loser could be in Dayton as well, would you rather play SLU or VCU if that was a choice?
Oh, man.
I don't
VCU.
think SLU drops that far, but it could another
It could
loss
happen.
to VCU, that could knock them down. They've not played well recently.
I'd take VCU.
You'd rather play VCU?
I'd
Frankly,
rather play VCU.
if I'm a Missouri fan who doesn't care about St. Louis, I would rather play SLU because they look very gettable right now. They just have not played well recently, especially away from Chaffetz.
Oh, that's the problem with announcing the contract extension today. Like, come on now.
No, they were playing badly way before today.
Yeah.
But that was, I told you he was not going anywhere. But I honestly, I don't know if I'll be able to write St. Louis in my bracket to the next round. Right now they're very, very hard to trust. Robbie Avila is their best player. He's dealing with a plantar fasciitis issue.
Yikes.
Anyway, but yeah, you want SLU to be Dayton. That's the one that I think we key on for tomorrow.
875-KTGR if you want to call or text us here with your college hoops rooting guide. I'd like to see that just one that's happening in real time right now. I'd like to see North Texas maybe come back and beat Tulsa. Let's not let Tulsa win that. Unless they're the team that needs to win it. That's the American. South Florida could win it, right?
Yes, Tulsa's the 3 seed, and that's a game in overtime right now. I don't think South Florida is destined for an at-large. Let's check out Bracket Matrix to see what they've got there. It may be difficult to ascertain because if they're like considered the de facto at-large, it's very interesting. They're listed as an 11 and as an at-large, but they're one spot on the seed list below VCU, which is the last team in as of the moment per like the total configured bracket matrix of 106 different brackets. VCU is in 102 out of 106 brackets. Miami is only in 100 of 106 brackets. Talking about other bubble teams, SMU is in 95 of 106. Texas is in 89 of 106.
Yeah.
In some real danger. Like Mizzou is in 105 out of 106 as of right now. I did go to the one guy's house who didn't have him in, and I read him the riot act, told him to put him in. But obviously that has no impact on what the committee will do.
No.
So it can't, I don't know how much comfort that gives me that like, of all the people who do this and are dorky enough to care enough to do this bracketology thing and take it seriously, 99 point whatever percent of them say, yeah, Mizzou's in as either a 10 or an 11. One guy said a 12, but like, you just don't, we're close to that cut line to where like, if there's a couple of stolen bids, maybe Mizzou is the either last team in or first team out, and it gets to that point.
The more the clock ticks, the more you just wonder. So we'll see. By the way, St. John's, hang on there. Hang on. They're playing Seton Hall.
Yeah, Seton Hall is technically one that you would worry about.
Yeah,
to steal a bid. I don't know that they have really any big time at large standing.
They're the next 4 out according to Lenardi. A win over St. John's puts them in the mix, and then they're in the championship game, right? So
then they could potentially win their tournament, and that would be a stolen bid. That's a bigger threat than Ole Miss, and I think honestly even a bigger threat than an Oklahoma. Like I think Oklahoma runs into Florida and the party ends. I think Oklahoma wins tonight, but I don't know that. I don't know that they're going to be able to actually win the tournament, but they don't need to. They maybe win tonight, and that may be enough. Certainly if they get to Sunday, I know I'm counting on the committee to be watching and caring about these games.
Yeah.
But I think if Oklahoma wins tonight, it could be trouble.
Call or text us 875-KTGR. In the meantime, we'll take our minds off it a little bit and just go with our picks of the week coming up next.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Let's knock out the promo here.
Did you see the deal where Emeka Egbuka had a tweet? And the tweet was, "Is CTE even real?"
Wasn't that
and
a fake
then
tweet, a fake account?
The Buccaneers said that's not his real account. But then people are like, then why did the Buccaneers tag him 60 times over the past year?
That is rough.
Very, very bizarre.